So personally, I don't even like fourth intervals unless I mix it up with some good old Greg Howe spices like So that's what I'm teaching today. Cool examples using that fourth interval, in-screen tablature, downloadable tablature for people supporting my work on Patreon. You can become a Patreon supporter in the description below. Also, it's not an arpeggio-based lesson, but you need good arpeggio knowledge on your path to becoming a more sophisticated player like Greg Howe. So there's always my free arpeggio guide, guys, in the description below, 10 pages, so on. I'll try to be here every single week sharing my very specific knowledge on Greg Howe's playing every single week. So subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss any lesson. And now let's get into it. Number one, but before I explain that one, just fourth intervals in general, guys. I'm using C Dorian backing track, which is also gonna be on Patreon. C Dorian. Fourth intervals, nothing more than the interval, the distance between two notes. This time, this fourth interval is 1 and 4. So 1, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, nothing more than that. That's a fourth interval. Now that you know the interval shape or configuration, just two notes on top of each other. Right, always that, except when we hit the B string, got like that kind of thing, and then bottom two strings. And that's where I'm gonna design my 3 lines for you. Right, so not gonna go any further because of copyright. Anyway, guys, that's fourth intervals. Now, that first line I played starts off with a kind of a bluesy phrasing thing. Using that all the time. Greg is using that also a lot. So, from that point on, I'm gonna hit into fourth intervals. Once I'm here, I'm gonna do another phrase that I really like, which I stole from Greg. Trick here is that moment where I do a downstroke on the B string and a hammer on from nowhere on the blue note. Right, it feels strange in the beginning. It's core of those lines. Right, that's lick number 1. So again, this lick starts with fourth intervals, starting really on the blue note. Get that blue note sound with me. Really like that, I'm doing that awful lot. Track 2. Then I'm choosing a string skip. Right, what I'm seeing here actually, guys, is seeing that minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio on the A string. Alright, you got me, that's an arpeggio based thinking line, so it's a minor 7 flat 5 5R shape. Get my arpeggio guide description below if you want to understand that from a shape perspective. Alright, guys, but last example for you guys. There's 3 more examples for my top tier patrons, but that last example, guys, again, fourth interval starting, right? But now I'm going down again. again the same move, mini move from lick number 1. That's what needs some practice maybe. But you hit 2 birds with 1 stone actually, because going into 2nd, 4th interval as well. Finishing off with a blues line. So that's lick number 3. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed those 3 lines. They are on Patreon for people supporting my work, so big credits to people that support me on Patreon. You can support me with the description below. There's gonna be 3 extra lines for my highest supporting tier members on Patreon. That backing track will be there on Patreon. And again guys, get my arpeggio guide if you're still struggling with arpeggio shapes. There was at the end a little reference to a minor 7 flat 5, so really guys, you need arpeggio shapes anyway, so get it in the description below. Subscribe to the channel if you want more of this, because I'll try to be here every single week guys, sharing my almost decade of hard work, getting to know Greg's style. I was his private student for a few years as well. I'm not like really copying what I've been taught in the lessons. I think that's not fully appropriate, but you know, I'm just going through all my kind of discoveries over the past 10 years and sharing a little bit of that every single week. So subscribe if you don't want to miss that. And finally guys, here's a kind of another lesson of mine. If you're a little bit new to the Dorian scale, which might be, right? You're still in the pentatonic world. Well, here's my take or my view on the Dorian scale as well, to study that. I'll see you next week.